Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm really thrilled you're joining us because we've got a genuinely fascinating topic to unpack today. We're diving into a capability document from an organization called Mindhive, focusing entirely on their data analytics and business intelligence services. Now, I know on the surface, a term like data analytics might sound a little dry, but trust me, what we're looking at today is actually all about elevating human voices. We're going to see exactly how they capture, organize, and interpret massive amounts of collaborative data to help organizations make truly informed decisions.
So think about this for a second. How do you actually turn thousands of conflicting opinions into one clear strategy? Just imagine you're running a massive government consultation or, maybe a huge corporate restructure. You've got employees, industry experts, community members, and they are all feeding you unstructured comments, complaints, and ideas. How do you make sense of the whole shebang without letting personal bias creep in, and without it taking months to read? Well, that is the exact real-world problem that Mindhive's platform is built to solve. Here's our quick roadmap for the Explainer today. We'll start with data to clear decisions. Then, we're going to dive into 2 case studies covering capacity with the QBC review and capability with the AgTech roadmap. After that, we'll examine ethical and sustainable engagement and finally wrap things up with pricing and value.
Okay, let's jump right into Section 1. Data to clear decisions, turning collective insight into evidence.
This right here is the workflow for transforming raw, chaotic inputs into actionable strategy. It all kicks off with structured data collection, pulling in qualitative and quantitative inputs from stakeholders in a really controlled way. Next up is automated synthesis. That's where the system starts picking up on patterns, overarching themes, and sentiment. Then we move into real-time analysis, which is huge because it allows leaders to see what's happening exactly as it unfolds. And finally, it spits out custom, decision-ready analytics tailored specifically for policy or program design. It's this incredibly seamless flow from raw noise to absolute clarity.
And this is the secret sauce. The crucial point here is how they define their approach. Notice what they highlight, combining human expertise with ethical AI. They aren't just letting algorithms run wild here. By pairing ethical AI with human oversight, they enhance the quality of the insight, they dramatically reduce the time it takes to analyze the data, and they create these repeatable, transparent workflows for government and enterprise clients. It basically gives organizations a crystal clear line of sight from raw data straight through to action.
Moving on to Section 2, Capacity, the QBCC Governance Review, proving large-scale data synthesis. To really set the stakes for you on this one, the Queensland Government and QUT commissioned an independent governance review of the QBCC during a time of extremely high public interest and immense sector complexity. They actually brought in Mindhive to provide the digital platform and analytics to handle it all. We are talking about managing thousands of unstructured contributions from employees, industry stakeholders, and the community, covering everything from performance and complaints management to organizational culture. It was a massive, massive undertaking. But what's truly impressive is this massive metric right here, 30%. By using a secure, moderated digital engagement platform, Mindhive achieved participation rates 30% above the industry standard. Because participants actually felt they could speak openly and safely, it provided a much deeper, far richer data set for the independent reviewer to analyze than traditional consultation methods ever could, which directly drove this incredible result. 22. This number represents the 22 recommendations that were reached by pure consensus across a highly diverse and, honestly, complex group of stakeholders. Because when you can map clear themes across complaints, compliance, and leadership using purely data-driven insights, you can actually bring conflicting parties to an agreement.
And if you want the ultimate mic drop for delivering a data-driven report, it is this quote from the case study. All recommendations were subsequently funded by Cabinet, demonstrating confidence in the robustness of the insights. The analytics provided such a clear, systemic understanding that the government had the absolute confidence to fully fund the transition of the QBCC toward an insights-driven regulatory model. I mean, that is a massive win for evidence-based governance.
All right, let's pivot to Section 3. Capability, the Queensland AgTech roadmap, proving niche agility and speed.
The Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, or DAF, was dealing with a very different kind of problem. They needed to rapidly gather evidence to shape the future of agricultural technology in Queensland. That meant capturing insights quickly from a super specialized niche ecosystem. We're talking a unique mix of entrepreneurs, capital providers, research organizations, and government partners.
They absolutely had to have a platform that was inclusive, but highly targeted.
For such a specialized industry consultation, the granular metrics they pulled are just fantastic. 90 followers, 51 comments, and 61 likes. But the most impressive takeaway from the source document is that 16.2% of the user group actively contributed. That is a highly engaged ecosystem, openly discussing technology compatibility, adoption challenges, and regulatory constraints in real time. And this perfectly captures exactly why that highly specialized group felt comfortable actively contributing. No participant was privileged or weighted above others. Mindhive ensured equal visibility across the board. Whether you were a small-scale entrepreneur or a massive capital provider, your voice carried the exact same weight in the data analysis. It's this absolute commitment to equal, transparent participation that allows for a true systemic understanding of the entire landscape.
Which brings us to Section 4, Ethical and Sustainable Engagement, the core pillars of responsible consultation.
Just consider the stark contrast between traditional and digital models for a moment. Traditional consultation requires physical venues, endless stacks of printing, travel, and frankly, it carries the risk of coercion in those high-pressure town hall settings. The Mindhive digital approach? Zero travel and zero printing, which completely eliminates the environmental footprint. But even more crucially, you get anonymized thematic analysis and secure, moderated environments that protect participant identities and ensure absolute data integrity. It's better for the planet, for sure, but it's also infinitely safer for the participants.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, Pricing and Value, Transparent Investment Tiers.
They've laid out a remarkably straightforward pricing matrix. There are 6 distinct service levels mapped out here, showing a very clear difference between the standard market rate and the maximum rate. It scales logically, right? Starting at level 1 with a $115 market rate, all the way up to level 6, which caps at a $450 maximum rate. It's just a highly transparent look at exactly how their services are tiered for any organization seeking these analytics capabilities.
And that brings us to the end of our journey today, leaving us with this final, really provocative thought. Is your organization ready to transition to insights-driven decision-making? We've seen firsthand how blending human expertise with ethical AI can take thousands of scattered opinions and forge them into a unified, funded strategy. We've seen the environmental and ethical benefits of doing this securely and digitally. The evidence is absolutely clear. The only question left is whether it's time for your organization to start making decisions based on rock-solid data rather than guesswork. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.